Yeah, well, I just wanted to ask after obviously not an ideal start in game one, how nice has it been to settle in and obviously make every field goal you've taken, but just also make some big kicks. Sean was really complimentary of you with Dave Logan on the radio post game and in the press conference.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, no one wants to be a negative part of a game at any position, right? And I think, the hardest part is, in my position, is the mental side, bouncing back from the start that we had. But, um, my goal is to affect every game in a positive way. And, I feel like special teams as a whole has done that this year. And, I'm just grateful to be a part of that.
Chris Thomason?
Yeah. Hey, thanks for doing this, Will. Hey, Sean Payton talked in depth today kind of about how you joined the Saints. You had been with the Ravens, and then John Harbaugh recommended you to Sean Payton. How did it all kind of get started, as you remember, with Payton, and just talk about your relationship with him throughout the years?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's journey getting into this league is different. It takes a little bit of skill and sometimes a lot of luck. And, I'm very grateful for the Baltimore Ravens organization. 7 years ago, I was able to kind of learn under one of the best to ever do it. And I took advantage of that opportunity. And, thankfully, Sean brought me to New Orleans then and, now to Denver. And, I'm very grateful for Sean and I's relationship. I've been fortunate to make a lot of big kicks for, Sean Payton coach teams. And, Sean has seen me go through the ups and downs that every position goes through. And, he's kind of stuck with me through all that. So grateful for that. But at the end of the day, my job is to execute my job. And, no matter how he talks about me, I gotta do my job. So, obviously I'm grateful for the support of my head coach and, the locker room and the guys around me. But, I got to show up on Sundays and do my job. And that's kind of what I'm focused on.
If I could
Go ahead, Troy. All right, let's go Andrew Mason.
Hey, Will, obviously you just got here at the start of the season, but across the board, the Broncos special teams have improved from previous years. What do you see kind of in practices and then in the meetings from the coaches that is helping things come together, not just in the kickoff and place kicking game, but kind of the entire unit?
Yeah, I mean, with special teams, it takes guys buying in. And I think we have a locker room that takes a lot of pride in special teams. We have a returner in Marvin Mims who, I mean, if you don't want to block for him, that's another issue. I think people believe in him, and I think that helps when, outside of coaching or anything, if you believe in the guy you're blocking for, that's half the battle. So, obviously hats off to Marv with the way he's handled the return game, and then, he can't do it without the guys in front of him. So that's important. I've been with Westhoff in the past. His track record speaks for itself. So he's highly respected in the special teams world. And I think him and Coach Kotwika are, they work good together, and, the players are buying in, and it's a lot of fun to be a part of. And it's really cool when you can see special teams help swing the game in a positive manner.
All right, Troy, let's toss it back to you.
Well, when everyone, like when they grow up in athletics, has this dream of, the big hit, the big kick. What is it like when you go out there, those moments leading up to it, in terms of how you relax yourself and being able to perform, and especially kicks of 50 yards plus? But did you grow up, or what point in your life did you realize, like, I want to do this? I want that moment.
That's a tough answer. I mean, look, my goal in life was to be a professional soccer player. So at the time, I mean, I didn't even start kicking until my junior year of high school. So it's hard to say when I, wanted that moment. But I mean, I fell in love with the game of football first. And, I really enjoy being a part of a locker room, being on the field on Sundays and in college on Saturdays. And, I don't think there's anything better. As far as how I handle it, as cliche as it sounds, I do my best to treat every kick the same. And I think in football, you learn through experiences. I've hit a lot of big kicks in my career, but, I've also unfortunately missed a few. And, I've grown from all those kicks, the good and the bad. So, the way I approach game winners is I, kind of take the lessons learned throughout my 7.5-year career. And, you grow through all that. And it's also trust in the operation. Mitch and Riley have done such a good job for me the first, 7 weeks now. And, the O-line was outstanding this week. It was arguably one of the best rush teams we've seen all year. So I'm proud of that whole operation. It really made my job easy yesterday. So, those kicks are what we live for in my position. And obviously, we want extra points, of course, but when my number's called, my goal is the same on every kick, and that's to put it through the uprights.
We'll go Mike Kliss, then Eric Dalala. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, well, that was roughly the same question I had, but there are 29-yard field goals to make it 6-0 and 52-yard field goals that are do or die. If you make them, you win. If you miss them, you lose. Does the heart race a little more when a do or die is kind of on the line there? And is that why you have your routines to kind of minimize a little bit that heart rate?
Yeah, obviously I'm aware of the situation, right? Like I said, it's cliche to say every kick is the same. And I do believe that to an extent, but obviously you kind of have to almost go through your cues twice in more high pressure situations just to make sure you kind of, really check your boxes and, not let the moment beat you. So, I really take a lot of pride in pressure kicks, making sure I handle it the same as I do, like you said, a 29-yarder in the second quarter. So most importantly, it's just, trust in your instincts, trust in your cues that you go through on every kick. So I just try to kind of slow everything down in those situations, and, past experiences have helped with that.
Eric?
Yeah, well, Sean was saying not only are you making these kicks, but you're flushing them well, you're hitting them nicely. Do you feel like you're in a rhythm right now? And I guess what does that feel like when you get into that zone where you're just striking the ball really well?
Yeah, look, it starts with preparation throughout the week. Again, I know that's cliche, but Mitch and Riley have done great throughout the week, preparing for every game. And just like any other position, it takes time, right? It was a change of scenery, a change of operations, new people in the locker room. It just takes time. And, over the last couple of weeks, I feel like the three of us have really started gelling with our field goal operation. And that really helps. So I feel good. I feel like I'm hitting the ball well, Monday through Friday. And then, the important part is carrying it to Sunday or, Thursday or Monday night, whenever the game is. But, yeah, preparation is huge in that, and I don't take that for granted, and I know Mitch and Riley don't either.
Final two questions, Chris, then Andrew.
Yeah. Sean Payton yesterday said that you potentially, his quote is possibly a great one down the road. What do you think of kind of Sean saying you could be a quote great kicker, and do you kind of aspire to be in that category? I know you were with Tucker in Baltimore, listed among, the great kickers of the game.
Yeah, I think everybody in this sport play the game because they want to be etched in history at some point. You don't play to be decent, right? Sean didn't bring me here to be decent. So, like I said, I appreciate him saying all those things, and the support means a lot. But at the end of the day, it's my job to, try to live up to that. And, I approach every year trying to be the best kicker I can be. And, if I handle that, obviously the results come. But it's one game, one season at a time. And, but yeah, I mean, like you said, my goal is to be up on the list of one of the best to do it. And, hopefully I'm doing this for a few more years and we can kind of work towards that goal. But, my goal this year is to help the Denver Broncos turn this season around and, start stacking some wins.
Last question, Mace, let's wrap it up.
Yeah, Will, you talked about growing up wanting to be a soccer player. Like, who did you want to play for? Like, what were your soccer goals, and when did you pivot toward American football rather than what the world calls football?
Yeah, I mean, I started playing soccer at 3 years old, and I just fell in love with it. I was a high energy kid who kind of needed to be moving around at all times, and so my first goal was to get to college for soccer, and it kind of transitioned. Like I said, I started playing football my junior year of high school, and I actually tried to play my sophomore year, but my dad told me I needed to focus on soccer, so I put all my weight in soccer moving forward, and then I got the taste of football really my senior year more than my junior year, and I kind of weighed the pros and cons of American football versus soccer, and I just felt like I had more of a future, and I got a little lazy and didn't want to do all the conditioning involved in soccer going into college. So, like I said, I just fell in love with the game of football, and I kind of knew when I got to college I made the right choice, and obviously I'm happy I made that choice.
Will, thank you so much for joining us today.
All right, guys, thanks for having me.